Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something that is practically invisible, but it absolutely dictates whether a company is going to thrive or just completely fall apart. We're talking about the hidden operational map of modern service businesses. But before we get into the nuts and bolts of how this works, I want you to picture something for a second. Imagine a local plumbing or HVAC business, right? They've just doubled their revenue. From the outside looking in, they're absolutely crushing it. The phones are ringing off the hook, trucks are rolling out, money's coming in. It looks great. But behind the scenes, the owner hasn't slept a full night in 3 years. They are quite literally trapped in a nightmare created by their own success. If you've ever wondered why some service companies just scale effortlessly, while others are constantly putting out fires and drowning in chaos, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to map out the true underlying architecture of a successful operation. So there's this saying that rings incredibly true for almost every growing company out there. Most service businesses don't have a work problem. They have a structure problem. Just think about that for a second. These businesses, they've got plenty of customers, they have nonstop movement, but what they are completely missing is structural visibility. And here is the harsh reality that catches so many founders off guard. Look, when you have 10 customers, sure, you can keep everything in your head. You can absolutely hustle your way to success. But when you hit 50 or 100 or 500 customers, controlling everything doesn't just get a little tougher, it gets exponentially harder to manage if you don't have an underlying framework. The crazy thing is, the exact things that made you successful in the early days, the raw hustle, your memory, your extreme personal involvement, those actually become the very bottlenecks that will choke your business later on. All right, Section 1, the anatomy of chaos, or operating blindly. Before we get to the solution, let's take a quick look at what this actually looks like on the ground. Okay, let's dive into this list, because these are the really visceral symptoms of disconnected operations. We're talking about managers sitting at desks completely buried in outdated spreadsheets and sticky notes. They're dealing with WhatsApp groups that ping so much their phone is literally dancing off the desk, while field workers frantically text for updates. Missed calls are just piling up left and right. Just imagine an owner desperately trying to search for client addresses manually, playing this impossible game of chess, all while their technicians are out there getting lost because of sheer route confusion. It's just a state of constant, stressful movement, but with absolutely zero forward progress. The dispatch team ends up just reacting to whichever alarm is ringing the loudest, completely disconnected from what's actually happening in the field. And all these broken, isolated pieces, they lead directly to massive scheduling nightmares and some deep, irreversible customer frustration. Ouch! This is it. The ultimate symptom of all this chaos boils down to one simple, absolutely dreaded question. Are you coming today? Listen, when a customer has to actually pick up the phone and ask you this, your system has already fundamentally failed. This usually stems directly from overlapping schedules, missed visits, and severe route inefficiency. But why does the specific question matter so much? Because the second a customer has to ask it, trust is instantly broken. You can pretty much guarantee negative reviews are imminent. Really, it's the sound of a business suffocating under its own disconnected weight. The customer goes from feeling like they're totally taken care of to feeling like a complete afterthought. That destroys repeat business for sure, and it's exactly what we want to permanently eliminate from your operational map. Moving on to Section 2, the hidden operational map, all about building a connected workflow. Fortunately for us, there is a totally different, highly strategic way to run things. The fix here relies on something we call a business operating system. What this actually means is having a connected digital framework where your leads, clients, routes, technicians, and invoicing don't just sit in their own isolated silos anymore. Instead, they all function together as one single unified workflow. A lot of people don't realize that a truly successful business actually operates a lot like a connected biological system. Think about it like this. Dispatch is the brain, and the technicians are the hands. For the body to actually function, the brain has to send signals to the hands instantly, right? Not with a 20-minute delay. Every single organ has to talk to the others in real time. The alternative is just winging it every day. And let me tell you, operating by daily improvisation will ultimately kill your growth, simply because it relies entirely on human memory. And human memory, under pressure, it inevitably breaks. I want you to picture this as a seamless, glowing journey. First, a lead comes in and seamlessly transforms into a client in your database. Boom. That data then flows instantly right into phase 2, scheduling the visit and actually executing the job, all with zero manual data entry needed from your dispatcher. Then, the very second the technician marks that job is complete, the network lights up phase 3. It automatically generates the invoice and secures the payment right there on the spot. Finally, that same data flows right into phase 4, feeding directly into your analytics reports and triggering those automated customer follow-ups. Every single piece is talking to every other piece smoothly. To put that into perspective, here's a crazy fact. Saving just 5 minutes of manual data entry per job actually aggregates into entire weeks of saved operational time over a single year. No lost technicians, no duplicated efforts, and definitely no overdue invoices slipping through the cracks. Section 3, Systems versus Chaos. Let's do a quick mid-explainer contrast to really drive this home. This brilliantly illustrates the difference. A business trying to operate without systems is, at its core, defined by stress and just constant firefighting. We're talking severe confusion, missed appointments, and fundamentally unhappy customers. Honestly, it's just a miserable, exhausting place to be for both the owner and the team. But the moment you inject a real business operating system into the mix, that reality flips instantly. Suddenly, you're operating with crystal clear clarity. You get beautifully organized routes, incredibly smooth scheduling, and highly informed customers who know exactly when to expect you. It completely changes the game from playing defense all day to actually playing offense. True visibility finally replaces the firefighting. Instead of just trying to survive the day, you're actually managing it. And that, right there, is what unlocks true, sustainable scalability. Which brings us to Section 4, Scaling with Visibility to Make Smarter Decisions. How does this scalability actually happen on a practical, day-to-day level? Well, let's consider one very specific, powerful tool, route management. Did you know that bad, inefficient routing can literally eat up to 30% of an operations budget in wasted fuel and idle labor hours? 30%! That is a massive leak in your profitability. But by optimizing your routes through a central intelligence system instead of, say, relying on old paper maps, you're directly saving time, which we all know is your most valuable asset. That leads straight to immense fuel efficiency, literally keeping thousands of dollars in your bank account instead of just burning it up on the highway. And naturally, this directly impacts productivity. Your crews are actually out there working and generating revenue on site, rather than just driving in circles stuck in traffic. And obviously, when your crews arrive efficiently and exactly on time, your customer satisfaction absolutely skyrockets. But the digital side of connectivity goes way beyond just the road. Follow-ups matter immensely when it comes to client retention, and a connected system ensures they happen automatically, every single time. Why does that matter? Because an automated, polite follow-up makes your customer feel like they're working with a highly polished Fortune 500 company rather than a disorganized mom-and-pop shop that might just completely forget about them tomorrow. On top of that, having high-level metrics tracked on premium dashboards means owners can finally make smarter, much faster decisions. This big-picture operational visibility is what finally puts an end to that daily firefighting we were talking about earlier. Automated reports make sure you're accurately tracking your money at all times. These are the hidden engines of a real company, totally eliminating those non-stop, panicked phone calls once and for all. And finally, Section 5, Working as One System. This is the real company setup and the ultimate goal for any ambitious service provider. So the absolutely crucial point is this. Listen, modern businesses do not grow simply because everyone in the office just decides to hustle harder or work longer hours. Honestly, that is one of the most pervasive and dangerous myths in entrepreneurship today. Believing that myth leads directly to severe founder burnout and incredibly high employee turnover. You just end up stuck on an endless hamster wheel. True modern businesses grow because they understand exactly how to digitally connect their operations, their customers, their time, and their money into one single unified workflow. Building those glowing connected network lines between every single operational dot, that is the true underlying driver of scalable growth. You absolutely have to digitize those connections if you ever want to escape the hamster wheel and build something truly sustainable. There's a fantastic sentiment that really perfectly summarizes all of this. When everything works together, the business stops feeling like chaos and starts feeling like a real company. I want you to think deeply about your own operational map right now. Are your systems talking to each other effortlessly behind the scenes, or are your employees just shouting across the chaos, trying to hold it all together? If you literally doubled your customers tomorrow, would your business scale beautifully, or would it simply break right in half under the pressure? The choice between running a chaotic hustle and building a premium enterprise is entirely in how you structure your system. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep building smart, and I'll catch you next time.